What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn, and today we're going to be recapping the kind of plethora of roster moves the 49ers have made recently. Matt, it's been a while since we've recorded, first of all. Let's just get
Of
that
course,
out of the
yeah, it's
way.
good to be back. It's good to be
It
back.
is.
Bye weeks are really weird, so
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
bye week running into a holiday week, which is really weird. So
Yeah. So the 49ers have had a bunch going on as far as their roster. It was
yeah,
reported this week the COVID hit hard. Uh, Brandon Ayuk, Daniel Helm, Trent Williams all went on the COVID list. Also, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Hronis Grasu, Joe Walker, in addition to those that I just named, also went on the COVID list. So those players, what is that, like 7 players in total, I believe, are probably, I don't know what the criteria is exactly, but are they in jeopardy of missing the game against the Rams on Sunday?
it's going to depend. They have to have. I believe the ruling is that they have to have like a certain amount of consecutive tests negative, and they have to be without symptoms for a certain amount of days. So they still have time. They announced that these COVID moves were happening, a couple days ago, so they have time. But there's definitely the outside chance that they do miss those games. And I think from a perspective of, it's winter. Winter is a kind of a breeding ground for illness anyway, because people are staying more indoors because the weather gets colder. You're seeing COVID cases spiking. So I think the team is going to play it more safe than sorry. So if these guys aren't ready to go, obviously they're not going to play. It's interesting that Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk end up back on the COVID list where they were on there before because of their exposure to Kendrick Bourne, who was on the COVID list previously, and then because of close contact, they had to go on it. So it's interesting to see their names back on it. And, it's just a reminder that this thing has been, pervasive in everything that we've done in pretty much everybody's life. So, it's unfortunate, especially on top of the injuries that the 49ers still have. Fortunately, I think Richard Sherman and Raheem Mostert were activated, so they could potentially play, depending on how they do in practice this week. It'll just be interesting to see where the team is on Sunday. It's going to be a difficult opponent. It's just, especially still being down so many high-level players. It's a lot of roster moves. It's a lot of roster shakeup. We've had that from day one. It's kind of almost at this point, turn the page. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a lot we can do about it. We've seen so much of it. They're just going to have to go out there and battle.
Yeah, it's almost comical at this point, just the amount of setbacks the 49ers have had to their roster, whether it's injuries, COVID, suspensions, who knows? But there's always something going on, it seems like, with the 49ers, and it's unfortunate, but I guess that's just 2020. And yeah, we'll have to see how these players test throughout the week as far as their chances for playing Sunday against the Rams. Now, there was also a big move that the 49ers made, or I should say tried to make, and that is claiming Takk McKinley off the waivers after he was released from the Falcons, and then he failed his physical with the Bengals, I believe. Well, the 49ers failed his physical as well, and I was kind of shocked by that because I had been reading, I don't remember if you told me, Matt, or if I saw it elsewhere, that the 49ers are pretty lax with their physicals. They've passed players that a lot of teams
wasn't me,
wouldn't. Okay. Yeah, I read that they passed guys that a lot of other teams wouldn't. Were you shocked that they didn't pass McKinley?
A little bit, only from the fact that I feel like if they knew he had failed the physical before and they brought him in, usually that second go around, the team is trying to accomplish something. So whether they just like stash him on the inactive list or whatever, you would have thought that he would have stuck. But the fact that the 49ers also failed him on a physical means that his groin injury that he's been battling through must be worse than what we're initially, being told. He's been severely unproductive this season, which, he's been a fairly productive player the first couple of years of his career. So the groin injury must be pretty bad if he's failing multiple physicals, especially on talent-starved teams like the Bengals and now the 49ers with all the injuries. So it would have been nice, a nice pickup. I don't think they would have had him signed after this season, so it would have been really dependent on what you were getting out of him and what you could sign him for, whether or not it would have been worth it. They thought it was. They brought him in, and unfortunately, he couldn't pass the physical. So, it's another dead end as far as getting another edge rusher in here for the 49ers. They're just at this point, I think they're going to have to work with what they got.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, it's almost a lost season at this point. 4-6. I know that the graphics come up every week and they're still technically in the hunt, but with so much going against the 49ers from an injury standpoint, we got the huge COVID list, Takk McKinley not passing a physical, the entire fan base, and us especially, looking to the future at quarterback, especially with the dreaded vote of confidence that he got from Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch last week. This is a team in turmoil, that unfortunately it looks like they can't wait to get till the end of this season just to reset, recalibrate, and see where they're going to go for the 2021 season. At this point, I mean, it doesn't seem like anything is working for the 49ers.
And as far as McKinley, I was shocked as well. He would have came in and immediately been their best pass rusher. He had 2017, 6 sacks, 2018, 7 sacks. And the last year and a half before he was released by the Falcons, they weren't as productive. He had 3.5 sacks in 2019, and he only had a sack this year prior to being released. Excuse me. But he still is a talented and young player. And I think that a big...
I would also like to point out that too, by the way, that Dan Quinn's defenses have been getting progressively worse since that Super Bowl season. So some of that's not just going to be on Takk McKinley. That entire defense has underperformed. And I think a lot of that is coaching, because if you look at the athletes that they have in Atlanta, it should be better. You would think that they would be better. They're on pace right now to be the second worst defense in NFL history, and that's only ahead of this year's Seattle Seahawks, who are horrendously bad as well. So who knows how much of Takk McKinley's drop-off in production is Takk McKinley, or it's just a bad situation in Atlanta where it seemed like nobody was happy.
That's a good point. Yeah, nobody really looks good on that defense. But I think another aspect of this that I was looking forward to was if they brought him in and they decide not to re-sign him once the year is over, they likely would have gotten a comp pick for him. And now that's no longer happening. They failed the physical. So it is what it is. Takk McKinley, it was over before it started. Good luck wherever you go. I think he got claimed by the Raiders, right?
Did you see the thing? Did you see the thing somebody posted, like his Twitter messages or whatever, and it's like copy paste for each situation that he's been in?
Yeah.
It was like the same message for the Falcons, the Bengals, and the 49ers, like right off the bat. It's super funny.
Bengals, ready to get to work. 49ers, let's do this thing. Raiders,
It was literally copy paste with a different team in it. And I mean, unfortunately, if that's his work ethic, maybe we dodged the bullet with that one. But I'm just going to assume that social media he doesn't really care about, and he'd rather play football. So best of luck to Takk McKinley, though. You hate to see a guy going through multiple releases and injury issues. So hopefully, he can figure that out.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck to him. Some other roster moves we spoke about at the beginning of the video. The 49ers did open their IR injured reserve practice window for Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. Raheem Mostert has, I think it's not a stretch by any means to say he's the MVP of this team when he's in there. How big is that addition?
At least for the offense, yeah.
Yes, definitely for the offense. How big is that addition if he's able to come back this week?
It's going to depend. We're really going to see if Raheem Mostert is as talented as we think he is. Without Jimmy Garoppolo there, and as much as we, have kind of bailed on Jimmy, it's very clear that he's by far the best quarterback that's on the roster. And at least the threat of the pass is there that defenses have to play honestly. With Nick Mullins, they're going to stack the box, especially against somebody like Raheem Mostert, and we're going to have to see how he does. So it would be really nice if the 49ers could establish the run. I think that would take a lot of pressure off of Nick Mullins, and he wouldn't have to be forced to pass 35 times a game, which I don't think benefits the 49ers in any way, shape, or form. The issue is, Raheem Mostert has seemingly picked up these knick-knack injuries, and even so, he had a really good season last year, but before that, he also had a lot of injuries. He had the broken forearm. He seemed dinged up. He might be one of those guys that just, gets dinged up. And I don't want to say that it's, because he got the contract, the raise or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I just think that he, hit at the right time. I'd love to see him come back and be healthy, though, because he's a dynamic home run hitter type of running back out of the backfield. So I think at this point, anything that's going to get the 49ers excited is a good thing. So if he can stay healthy, I think that just adds a whole new dynamic to the offense.
Definitely. I was just looking at his stats, and it's unfortunate that he is still the 49ers leading rusher, even though he's missed 6 games this year and he has 300 yards.
Crazy.
That's unfortunate.
Crazy.
But
that's almost as crazy as Daniel Jones being the leading rusher for the Giants.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. It's going to be a big addition, but at the same time, it's like, is it really worth rushing him back on essentially a lost season?
Right.
I know some fans are saying, Zach, just like Matt said, they're still in the hunt. They're still in the graphic that comes up every Sunday. I think if they are trying to compete, and I don't think Shanahan has it in him to say, let's just throw in the towel, this year's over with. He's going to compete every game, but my biggest fear is that they're good enough to win 3 to 4 more games tops, and then they're just stuck in limbo. They don't make the playoffs, but they also finish outside a top 10 to 13 pick, and then they're just stuck. They don't get a quality premium quarterback. They also don't make the playoffs. There's no point in that. Nobody wins in that scenario besides maybe Jimmy Garoppolo for another year. So let's just hope it plays out in our favor, and in the long term, things work out.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for us today, though, guys. We really want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. Appreciate you guys tuning in after the break we had. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I think we're a little over or around 1,100 subscribers right now. We are very close to our goal of 4 million. So hit that subscribe button. And also drop a like and drop a comment below. What do you guys think of these roster moves the 49ers have made?
It's good to be back, guys. We took a break, but we love being here with you guys. Click the bell, turn on your notifications so you never miss a video. Until next time, go Niners.